zReportage.com, issue number 973, story of the week, published Saturday, December 28, 2024. If Walls Could Talk. Story and pictures by four-time Pulitzer Prize winning ZUMA Press photographer Carol Guzy. The notorious Sednaya prison and other military intelligence branch jails in Damascus, where inmates etched drawings on walls with pencils and green soap of thoughts, hopes, and dreams, where countless men disappeared amid accounts of torture during the brutal Assad regime in Syria. If walls could talk, the testimony of suffering would be profound. Primarily for political prisoners, Sednaya, called the human slaughterhouse by Amnesty International, held 20,000 inmates under brutal conditions. Many describe atrocities, torture, rape, and killings. The walls hold scratch marks for days spent in eerie, dark and lonely cells shared with bugs and rats, according to narratives from former prisoners: names, hometowns, dates, intricate drawings of tearful eyes, flags, peace doves and women they long for. The creative spark cannot be silenced. Pleas to their God. Ya Rab, Ya Allah, Farajak, O Lord, O God, bring an end to this. The darkness of night. And the humiliation of pain. God, deliver me so that I can see my mother, my parents, my siblings, my mother, my soul and my heart. Written in her heart is I love you to death. Youssef, my life is torture. A rebel offensive led by the Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham ousted President Bashar al-Assad. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights estimates more than 100,000 people died in Syrian prisons, and now desperate family members search for their disappeared loved ones. Fatin Massam from Daraa searches for clues in writings on the walls of Sednaya about her brother Tariq Massam, missing since 2013. She believed prisoners communicated via water pipes when soldiers cut off water at night, and she listens now at each cell for any sound. She said they used standard Arabic to avoid being recognized by their dialects. Tools of torture remain: handcuffs and rope, blindfolds and chains, an interrogation room, machines said to cut and press bodies so they could fit more in mass graves. Blankets on floors speak of cramped, overcrowded cells, or worse, small claustrophobic solitary confinement spaces. Sednaya, Palestine Branch 235, Meza are just some of the prisons scattered across the country. The women's cells were decorated with feminine flair. A cell holds a child's red shoe and clothes, chilling. Soldiers demonstrates how prisoners were tortured. Bassem Mohammed Arab Essa was a former inmate at the dreaded Meza prison. He was a soldier in Assad's regime and was detained for refusing to shoot civilians that were peacefully protesting. When he was released from prison, he joined the freedom fighters in Idlib and now returned to Damascus. Walking through the prison, he describes how they were chained, made to kneel naked for hours, how he could hear the screams of women being raped, until he felt ill and needed to leave. Free now, but emotional scars are far more difficult to heal. For countless families roam through cells, searching for answers, seeking justice. Most will not have even the peace and closure of a proper burial for their loved ones. The final cruelty after decades of sorrow. Following text from United Nations. Syria, Rights Probe reveals systematic torture and detention of Assad regime. The findings from the Independent International Commission of Inquiry on Syria detail crimes against humanity and war crimes that left a legacy of trauma for countless Syrians, representing some of the worst violations of international law committed during more than a decade of brutal conflict. We stand at a critical juncture. The caretaker government and future Syrian authorities can now ensure these crimes are never repeated, said Paulo Sergio Pinheiro, chair of the commission. We hope our findings from almost 14 years of investigations will help end impunity for these patterns of abuse. The report, titled Web of Agony, Arbitrary Detention, Torture and Ill-Treatment in the Syrian Arab Republic, draws on over 2,000 testimonies, including accounts from more than 550 survivors of torture. Torture chambers, mass graves. The fall of the Assad regime last month and subsequent release of prisoners have been pivotal for many Syrians, but for tens of thousands of families, the agony persists. The discovery of mass graves has deepened fears for those whose loved ones remain missing. In December and January, Commission teams visited several grave sites and former detention facilities, including Sednaya military prison and branches of the former intelligence services in Damascus. While significant amounts of evidence and documentation had been destroyed, some materials were preserved, offering a glimmer of hope for families seeking answers. For Syrians who did not find their loved ones among the freed, this evidence, alongside testimonies of freed detainees, may be their best hope to uncover the truth about missing relatives, said Commissioner Lynn Welchman. We commend the new authorities for their commitment to protecting mass graves and evidence and encourage further efforts, with the support of relevant Syrian civil society and international actors. The report outlines harrowing accounts of abuse, including severe beatings, electric shocks, rape, mutilation and prolonged psychological and physical torture. Survivors and witnesses described dire prison conditions including malnutrition, disease and injuries left untreated. Some detainees were executed, while others succumbed to their injuries in overcrowded, unsanitary cells. Having gained access to Syria for the first time since 2011, the Commission plans to expand its investigations with unprecedented access to sites and survivors who no longer fear reprisals. The report emphasizes the importance of safeguarding evidence and archives, calling for coordinated efforts with Syrian civil society and international actors. Cases brought before national courts outside Syria, relying on the principle of universal jurisdiction, have led to important convictions of mid- and lower-level perpetrators of war crimes and crimes against humanity, said Commissioner Hani Meghali. We now hope to see credible national justice initiatives, in which survivors and families can play a central role. We stand ready to assist alongside Syrian human rights and family associations and our UN partners.